What's up guys, Silver here with another Halo Master Chief Collection Achievement Guide. This time we are doing Part 5 of our Halo 2 Legendary walkthrough. This is the mission The Oracle, the second Arbiter mission, the first mission where you fight against the Flood. So go follow this path, no enemies to begin with, but there are some dead lying on the floor, so we're going to want to not flood these guys, we're going to want to sword these Flood guys on the ground here, or else they'll come back to life. So you can see when you sword them, they kind of fall to bits, and that way the infection forms cannot bring them back to life to attack you later. So do that. There's 5 kind of in an arc at the end of this room here, and we're kind of stuck here for a little bit because there's some dialogue going on here. So grab that fresh sword when you're done slicing and dicing those 5 Flood forms on the ground. Then grab a carbine if you don't have one already, and there's this hologram that comes to talk to you, and then there's a bunch of infection forms that come and attack you, and you can help your team kill those infection forms, or you could just stand around and kind of avoid them, which is what I did. I let my teammates do all the killing there. But this next room, the elevator shaft, there's a lot of enemies in here, but I start off by killing the guy in the center and then go work my way left to right on the platform here, and then I take out the sentinels. So I take out all the Flood combat forms from left to right first, and then I start looking up at these sentinels, and they come from above, so they'll always spawn in from above, so keep looking up so you could pick them off before they get too close. This guy's a little close, but that's alright. And then make sure you're looking out for more Flood forms coming onto the platform as well. So we need to kill all these guys to get this elevator moving, and you want to make sure you're on the elevator so it'll start moving. Once it starts moving, we're going to jump off onto those ribs. You can kind of see, like, in the corners of the room, there's like ribs along the elevator shaft. So we're going to jump to the right side. We're going to jump on top of these ribs here. I'm gonna call them ribs from now on. So this is what I'm talking about. I'm standing on a set of 3 ribs right now. So there's 3 ribs here. We're kind of on the middle set of 3 ribs, and we're just going to wait here for the platform to keep dropping. So you can't fall off if you're in this corner. Don't worry, even though there's a little gap, you won't fall off. And we're going to jump down to the bottom 3 ribs in a little bit. A Flood form might come and jump up on that rib there where I was just humping, but just sword him, and he usually jumps away anyway. But there's always that slight risk, but you'll be able to handle it. So this is the second time it's dropping. It dropped when we were on it. Now it's dropping for a second time without us being on it. And we are going to wait for it to drop. It'll do a little spin. And then we're going to cloak ourselves and jump onto it. And then jump onto the 3rd and final set of ribs on the side here. So we're going to jump down to these bottom 3 ribs. So this is the final set of ribs. And we're going to wait for the elevator to drop 2 more times. After the first drop here, the next drop I should say, to not confuse you, the next drop, it will be not in reach of us yet. We can't jump on it yet. It'll be too high, but there will be some sentinels that spawn in, and you could either ignore them or you could try to shoot and kill them. You can see here I start killing them, but they tend to fly up and fight the Flood that are on the elevator, so you don't really have to do this. I'm just kind of doing it for fun. And go back to your little hiding spot. And it will drop for the 4th and final time. Well, the 4th time, and then we just leave. It'll keep dropping, but we don't need to wait around for that. So, for the 4th time, and the final time that we care about, here it goes. Obviously, I'm skipping ahead a little bit. You gotta wait like 30-40 seconds for it to drop in between drops. And we're just gonna sit here, wait for it to go down. And this way you don't have to fight anybody on the actual elevator platform, except for the beginning, obviously. You got to get it to start dropping, but then once you do that, you could just jump over here and avoid all combat, and that's a blessing, because this is a really annoying section. So this rotates a little more than the other rotations, but just do the same thing, and then go over to this niche kind of in the floor, and you can see the platform down here. You just want to step off, fall down to the platform, and walk through the doorway right there. And beware, have your sword ready. There are 2 Flood forms there, so just slice them. And we're going to continue on, get a checkpoint, grab some carbine ammo right there, and we are going to break this glass. Just touch it, it'll break. And we're going to start killing carrier forms. There's like 6 or 8 carrier forms walking around down below, so we're just going to kill those guys, and we're going to ignore the Covenant. You can see there's a grunt on a turret to the right, and there's an elite. We're going to just pop these big explosive Flood guys, and just hopefully the Covenant guys will take out as many for us as possible. And keep an eye on the right side, because enemies, after you kill like 4 or 5 enemies, they tend to spawn in more Flood from above. So you want to make sure you're keeping your eye on that. See right here? They just jump down from the ceiling. So get your sword ready and just keep an eye on the ceiling there and on your radar. It's tough to use your radar in this room sometimes because there's so many infection forms just swarming around you. But we're just going to take out carrier forms down low and just keep an eye on your right side because there could be a combat form flying at you. And hopefully, again, the Covenant will take out as many as possible for us down there. Just trying to pit them against each other. And then once you're, looks like we're done, the Covenant are dead, unfortunately. But they did a pretty good job, actually, this time around. We're going to just keep firing from up here with our carbine. It's actually pretty easy to take out the combat forms with the carbine. If you shoot, like, pretty much towards the center of their body, and up a little bit, I guess, they you could kill them with one quote-unquote headshot. It doesn't really look like a headshot, though, because it's not their head. It's kind of a torso shot. But you can see all these flood combat forms. They're attracting infection forms, because the infection forms could go inside of them and reanimate them. So you can see there were 3 in a row right there that I just held my gun towards the top of the torso, and that's where they like to go in, and I just let them walk up to it and try to burrow themselves in there, and just shot them. So it's easy to kind of use that the dead bodies down here as bait for the infection forms. So once you clear out all the flood in this first wave of enemies, there will be 3 or 4 carbine elites that spawn above you here from the door that you use to get into this room. They will come in from there. So be aware of that. I like to hide under here and then use that camo. Remember, you have camo. Just pop your head out, stick one of them. The flood starts spawning in as well now, so hopefully you could get the flood and the elites. I guess they're not technically Covenant because they're heretics. They're like a rebel faction. But I'm going to keep calling them the Covenant. So you could actually get back up to the top level or the middle level by jumping on there and then jumping up here. So I'll do that a couple more times for you. And I apologize for the darkness in this level. This level's super dark in some places, so it's tough to see. But you can see there's the famine skull to my right. There are a bunch of writhing flood forms on the ground there. Don't worry, they will not hurt you. Eventually I do kill them anyway, just for fun. Just to get them off my radar is the main thing, so I could use my radar more effectively. And you can see I was using the infection form, or the combat forms as bait for the infection forms again. Just shoot them very easily. It's tough to shoot the infection forms unless you're using those combat forms as bait. And you can see I threw a plasma grenade straight down to the ground because the infection forms tend to swarm towards you. But if you're up on this second level here, they will kind of just swarm under you. So if you throw a plasma grenade down there, it will take out most of them. So we're just going to hang out up here now after that second wave of enemies. It looks like we got a couple more to go here. There's one. So again, you jump up on here, and then you could just jump up to the opposite side, and that's a fairly easy jump. Remember to use the crouch jump. That's when you jump and then hit the crouch button. It pulls your legs up towards your body, so you could actually jump higher than you would normally. You could clear higher obstacles. So we're just going to stay up here and pick off as many of these combat forms as possible with our carbine. And you could tell if you're going to kill them in one shot if you're on their quote-unquote head, because there will be a dot in the center of your targeting reticle. So you'll notice when I get a headshot, again, quote-unquote, because they're flood. Who knows where their head is? They go down. It seems like it's like where a human heart would be, like kind of on the left side of their chest a little bit is where you want to shoot. And then when you're done taking out most of these combat forms from afar with the carbine, you could jump down. I didn't know there were this many. I probably should have stayed up there. There were 4, it looks like, still down here. I thought there were only like 1 or 2. So that was a little dangerous. But once you get down here, you could actually come down and sword their bodies, and that way they won't reanimate. So there's a bunch of carbine ammo down here. Obviously, on top of just being carbine ammo, there's carbine elites that tend to come in here, so that's cool too. They provide more ammo, and there's a couple swords down here that are full of charge. And once you clear that wave, there will be 3 grunts and 2 elites that come through that far door. So you can see I took out a couple grunts to start, And then we got to just take those guys out. Actually, you don't have to, but I'm just going to. So I just use my camo, sneak up behind that guy. Totally missed that stick. I just assassinated that first one, obviously. Tried to stick the second, missed. And there's going to be more flood forms that spawn in here once these covenants spawn in here down below. But fortunately, they're just carrier forms, so you don't have to deal with combat forms anymore. Unless they're reanimating because you didn't clean them up with your sword earlier. And again, you can just run past these guys and go into that room that the 2 elites and the 3 grunts came in from. And get to the next section, but I just cleaned up this area a little bit before doing so. So we got full ammo, we got some plasma grenades. I like to throw plasma grenades down on the ground, and then that wasn't very effective. But when I'm running away, I like to throw a plasma grenade down behind me, and then just keep running, and the infection forms will just run into it because they're just chasing me mindlessly. Look at these guys coming in here. Alright, we're good. I just let them jump on my shield, and that pops and kills them because I had enough shield to go around. You don't want to do that when you don't have any shield, though. Obviously, you will die from that. But we're on to the next section here. There's a couple carrier forms I like to take out right away. Your phantom friends here, or phantom friend, there's only one, will help you out with some aerial cover fire. And we're just waiting for our teammates to kind of mop up this area. You don't really have to do much in ways of combat yourself here. And these infection forms are still chasing me. My teammates mean well, but I'm pretty sure they shot me a couple times here and almost stuck me in the face. That's fine. But we're going to go to this next section, and we're going to go to the left. And we want to keep these structures to our right side. So we're going to go to the left, just cut in here, pass. Once you get to the second to last one, we're going to cloak and go into the right. So right here, second to last structure on your right, just cloak and then go cut in there. And these guys usually don't chase you, but I just wanted to make sure they didn't follow me. Good thing, because they did start chasing me. But throw a grenade down there and start to shoot them in the head if they do chase you. And then we do the same thing here. So the second to last structure on the right side of us, we cut in and cloak ourselves. So that's a very reliable way to just run past all those enemies. Then this section is a fairly easy section. There's only like 3 sentinels and like 3 or 4 flood forms down on the ground. And they're fighting each other. But if you are very uncomfortable with this section, you could just climb up as high as you want, and you'll be pretty safe up here. And you could go up even higher. I just didn't want to go all the way up there. But this is just showing you, just go up on top. They're just going to stay on the bottom. So I'm just going to jump down now. You could kill them from up here if you want, obviously. You're a lot safer being up high, but I'm just going to jump down here. Got the old reliable sword. And take out that last flood form and sentinel. And it triggers a cutscene, and then we get warped to this point. And we're going to go to the right after that cutscene. We're going to jump up here. We're going to jump up to the ramp here. And then we're going to jump up here. And then jump up here. And this is the last ramp. You want to cloak when you get to the beginning of that ramp-ish, around that area. And then there's these 3 sentinels, which is the reason we cloaked, so they didn't start shooting at us. And just take these guys out. They should not know where exactly you are. And then just go behind this elevator control, and you could still activate it from behind, and then it'll go up, then reactivate it, hit it again, it will start coming back down, and it will crush you, but it doesn't actually crush or kill you. It launches you up to the top of this elevator shaft. Not only does it do that, which is just fun, it actually makes you invincible for the rest of this level, which is awesome. This is the easiest glitch to pull off. It's the pressure launch on the Oracle. You can see I'm just standing here, they're shooting at me, I'm humping the ground, having a great time. They can't do anything to me. The only way I could die is if I fall off the map at this point. So don't do that. But we're just going to go to these 3 sections, or these 3 beams, and stick with me here. There's one thing you got to do to make sure you progress through the rest of the level. Don't just click off at this point. Keep watching here. So we go to the first cable, we cut that, go to the second cable out of 3. There's a little bit of dialogue, which is why I can't start slicing this right away. Or I could, but it won't have any effect for a little bit. And we're going to go to the third and final little cable over here. And once you get past this cable, there's a little timing thing you have to do in order to get back down to finish the level. So as soon as we cut this cable, we're going to walk straight to the middle. Not straight, because there's a hole in between us and the middle. So we're going to go down here to the left. We're going to go cut into the right. And when we get to the edge, we're going to count 1 1,000, 2 2,000, 3 3,000, and then just walk off. So remember, 1 1,000, 2 2,000, 3 3,000, drop. And otherwise, if you don't do that, the elevator actually spawns up there and blocks this hole, and you can't actually use the elevator controls to make it drop anymore. So you'll just be stuck up there. So that's why I want to make sure you guys stuck with me through this point. And obviously, we're invincible, so there's no real strats at this point. Obviously, don't jump in the hole in the middle of this section. You'll die. But don't worry, you got a checkpoint, I'm sure. You'll just respawn and be able to do it again. So this is all me just running through the level on... Well, it's on Legendary, but I am invincible, so it's almost like it's easier than easy, which it is at this point. So we're just going to run. I sped up this part, obviously, because there's not really anything I need to say at this point. You know what to do. This is the old level that we just came from. This is level 4, the Arbiter, so you recognize this geometry probably. We're just running back through the level, the Arbiter, to that the hangar bay, and we're going to get there very shortly, and we fight the Heretic here and his little holo drones. And right in the beginning, I slowed this part down back to normal speed. The Heretic always starts out on top of this Seraph, this middle structure here. This is actually a Seraph fighter. So just jump up on top there, and you can see where he is. He's going to spawn in 4 possible locations after you damage him. And there's it's the 2 holes in the walls on one side and 2 holes in the walls on the other side. So just go up there on top of the Seraph, find which hole he's kind of hanging out in, and this happens sometimes, like he'll just freeze a little bit. So just go up to him and like smack him again if he gets frozen. There we go. So he actually freezes on me again a little bit on this 3rd run through of me smacking him in the face. So again, I'm just like going up on top of the Seraph, figuring out which of the 4 holes he's coming out of, and then just going under that, so when he pops out, I can immediately just start damaging him. So this is all scripted, basically. You can only kill him after the 4th time that he talks. So I've damaged him 3 times. This is the 4th and final time. Decided to kill him with a Sentinel Beam, because who does that? Who has any kills with Sentinel Beams? Probably nobody ever. But that's the end of this one, guys. A lot of tricks and skips in this level, and they're fairly easy to execute as well. So that's it for this. I'll see you guys for the next one. Click like and subscribe, leave a comment, follow me on Twitter at HaloCompletion, and on Twitch and Mixer at HaloCompletionist. Check out my podcast called Halo Conversationalist, and I'll see you guys later for more Halo achievements.